You're welcome. Kathleen, can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Blanco?
Here.
Commissioner Lopez?
Here.
Commissioner Mohajer?
Here.
Tim Seifert is absent. Chair Dickerson.
Here. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes for March 15th? And if they have, do we hear a motion?
I'll move that we approve the meeting minutes for the March 15th meeting.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion
I have a
carried.
question.
Oh,
Do-
yes, sir.
Do I abstain since I didn't attend the whole meeting? Or I wasn't here?
Legally, you are allowed to participate,
Okay.
even if you weren't at the meeting. However, you may abstain if you just wanted to.
Okay. No, well, then
Just for the
I-
fun of it.
Aye.
Okay. Don't want to be kind of a lone wolf and just abstain for the,
Just for the heck
for
of
the thrill. That's right.
it. Okay.
You're such a bad boy. Let's see. Dana?
So this is an announcement for those who are attending on Zoom, and this is for the public comment period for items that are not on today's agenda, and it also applies if you want to make a comment on an agenda item at that time. So if you wish to comment on an agenda item, please use the raised hand icon on the Zoom platform. Once you are recognized, you will then be unmuted and allowed to comment on the business at hand in the order received. Maximum comment time is 3 minutes or as otherwise directed by the chair. And if you are calling in and you wish to be acknowledged on Zoom, please you can raise your hand by dialing *9 and then identify yourself when unmuted. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dana. We'll move on to public comment period. Each member of the audience may address the commission on any subject within the commission's business. Each member of the audience and each subject is limited to discussion of 3 minutes or is otherwise directed by the chair. Do we have anybody online that wants to pontificate about things that are not already on the agenda? No? Okay. Kathleen, do we have anybody in the audience? Do we have any speaker slips?
No, we do not.
No, you do not. All right. Well, I thought I officially had to ask. So let us move on to the public hearing portion and to the agenda item that we have, which is the Conserve Fuel Plan Development Permit Amendment at 1027 East Stoll Road. Can we hear from staff?
Thank you, Chair Dickerson and Commissioners. One correction to make on the agenda. This is actually a permit amendment for a conditional use permit, not a plan development permit. So that's just one item I wanted to mention. So yes, this is a permit amendment proposing to modify the exterior of an existing convenience store and car wash, and to replace an existing fuel canopy, to install new fuel pumps, and replace and renew some landscaping on the site. This item was originally scheduled for February 15th, and it was continued at that time to March 15th, and that was as a result of some concerns that staff had regarding the project's original proposal, which included installing a diesel fueling station and a new canopy in the rear of the site. That portion of the project has now been removed and is no longer being proposed. And so it was again continued on March 15th because when we came back March 15th, we didn't have the updated plans ready. So it was continued to today's date and we're ready to go. So I'll give a brief presentation on that. The applicant's available on Zoom as well for questions. So the project site's located at the northwest corner of South Bradley Road and East Stoll Road. It's also located west of Highway 101. And a church and mortuary are to the west of the site. The Olive Garden restaurant is to the east. And then to the south is the shopping center that has Trader Joe's in it. The zoning of the site is freeway service, and it does permit fueling stations with a conditional use permit. The adjacent zoning includes commercial and professional offices to the west, and then freeway service to the east and to the south, and then general commercial just south of that. The project site is just under 1 acre in size, and it's developed with a gas station that was originally approved with a conditional use permit by the Planning Commission in 1993. It's developed with an existing 1,780 square foot convenience store, a 744 square foot car wash, and 12 fueling, well, six fueling pumps that results in 12 fueling stations, because there's two stations per pump. And the existing canopy is about 1,800 square feet in size. So the project includes removing and replacing the 1,800 square foot fueling canopy with a 3,900 square foot canopy, and that's to provide full coverage for stormwater compliance. And the existing 6 fueling pumps would also be replaced with new fueling pumps. The project also includes facade upgrades to the convenience store and the car wash buildings to match the new fueling canopy, and landscape rehabilitation, which includes replacing the existing lawn area with drought-tolerant landscape and the addition of 2 new Brisbane box trees adjacent to Stoll Road. So this is the project circulation plan, and I just wanted to go over that briefly. So vehicles would, overall, no changes to the overall flow of traffic to the site is proposed. Vehicles will still be able to enter the site from Bradley or Stoll Road to the south and the existing driveway along Bradley Road. The site is currently set up so that cars that are fueling up should drive in off of Stoll and drive straight through this way. But it still is possible for people to come in and come in this way as well. And so that circulation, overall circulation plan for the site isn't proposed to change. The canopy is larger, and the new fueling stations or fueling pumps are spread out a bit more than what they currently are. And so when staff reviewed this, we did look at the internal circulation here to make sure that the drive aisle widths are still adequate for cars to be able to fit through here. And this width is about 12 feet. It's measured from the edge of the landscape area here, the curb, over to where a car would be parked fueling up. That's about 12 feet. There's a 10-foot wide drive aisle down the middle, which is standard for gas stations. And then there's another about 10 feet here before you get to the additional space where the car is going to be located. So I just wanted to show this to provide more detail on how vehicles could fit through here if they need to. This area in the back still remains open. This is where the diesel fueling station and the canopy had been previously proposed that then they removed because staff had concerns with how vehicles would be able to travel through this site. So that's the main points I wanted to make on this slide. This is a photo of the existing convenience store and the fuel canopy. It's looking from the project frontage along East Stoll Road. The existing buildings all have S-tile roofing with wood siding and some brick as well, and then the green accents. So what they're proposing to do is replace the brick with a stone veneer, and then this would be stucco, and the whole building would be repainted, and the green accent trim and other green aspects would be removed and repainted with kind of this darker brown color. And the same would occur with the car wash. There would be no changes to the tiled roofing. That would remain the same. This just shows the car, the opening of the car wash here, and the new stone down here and the stucco. And then this is a elevation showing the new fueling canopy, and it also has some of the stone veneer here and the tan color that matches the changes to the other building and also the S-tiled roofing. And the canopy would be 24 feet tall, which is under the maximum allowable height in the freeway service district, which is 40 feet. So the net change between the existing and the proposed fueling canopy is about 2,000 square feet, so it is a bit bigger. And yeah, I think that's good for that one. So I just wanted to go over the landscape plan in a bit more detail. The site currently has about 7,500 square feet of landscaped area, which is about 19% of the site. So it's actually over the required percentage of landscaping. So the project proposes to rehabilitate around 3,500 square feet of the landscaping, and that's all the areas that are shown here in green. And so no changes would occur to the remaining areas of landscaping, which is along the back. The rehabilitated areas primarily along Bradley Road and Stoll Road. And again, it includes replacing the existing turf with drought-tolerant shrubs and ground cover, the planting of 2 new Brisbane box trees. One is here and one is located here. I don't know if you're seeing you're not. Hold on. One moment. Try to use. There we go. So this is one location of one of the new trees, and this is the other tree. And then you can see there's quite a few shrubs and new ground cover that would be located all throughout here. These are existing trees that would remain. Okay, so that concludes the staff presentation, and staff recommends that the commission by motion approve the conditional use permit amendment A 2022-8. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we move on to any questions from commissioners, ask if any of the commissioners have had any ex parte communication with the applicant. No? I haven't either. Okay. Does the applicant wish to speak?
If the applicant's on Zoom and you wish to speak, please go ahead and raise your hand. Thank you.
So do I do it?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead,
Good
Ben.
evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for hearing our case this evening. My name is Benjamin Steckler. I'm a certified planner who works for Fiedler Group as the entitlement manager, and I am the applicant for this project for our client, a development company that owns this conserved fueling station and others like it. They are requesting basically exactly everything that was described by staff. We wanted to thank staff for their hard work and diligence throughout the course of the project. We appreciate their input and assistance throughout, and we just wanted to let you know that we are here for any questions that you may have of us, but we thank staff for their very thorough presentation.
Great. Thank you very much. Questions from commissioners of staff or the applicant? Does anyone have any questions? No? Commissioner Lopez?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This question is for the applicant. On the canopy, you guys have 3 gables. Is that just for the signage? Because the existing canopy just has 2 end gables, and only one that faces the intersection has a sign on it. So are the 3 are the 3 gables that are proposed strictly for signage?
I know each one of them has signage. I don't think that they're strictly for signage. I believe that it was done by the architect more for aesthetics. They're all 3 facing visual out toward the street, whereas the other side of it faces the store and is not so visible from streets. And it was just one of those things that I think that it was included specifically for that reason, to give it more of a wraparound effect.
Okay. And then my last question is, the hoses for the pumps, will you be able to fuel on either side of your vehicle, or with your vehicle facing either direction?
Yes, they are, standardly they are long enough if you're close enough to the curb. The hoses are limited though in the distance that they can pull down away from the pulley system that keeps them in place. But they will reach around the car if the car is close enough to the curb.
Okay, all right, thank you, that's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Further questions? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I have a question for the applicant, just as to if we have an idea when construction's going to start and when it would be completed, what that timeline looks like.
We would have to get into designing the construction documents for the site, and that will take probably 6-8 weeks, plus or minus. And then after that, we'd have to submit those to Building and Safety for review. That takes a few months in and of itself. I would estimate possibly late this year or early next year getting into construction, depending on how everything went right now, because of the fact that we're in a very wet, rainy season right now. I know that they wouldn't want to start at the end of next year if we're also in a rainy season then, because it just delays the work that's being done, and especially when you're first starting with foundations or anything, or opening up the ground for anything. This rain will damage the existing underground structures if we expose anything at the wrong time of year. So they want to make sure that they do it off of the weather, inclement weather that we may or may not have next year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anything?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. One quick question, maybe. Wasn't quite clear, are the pumps staying in the same location, or are they moving a little bit?
They are shifting slightly, the same number of pumps, but they are shifting slightly because of the spread. We're trying to give a more comfortable customer feel along with meeting the NPDES standards of current day. And the customers don't like to be too crowded in the area and under the fueling canopies. So it's just easier to separate them slightly.
Great, thank you. That makes sense.
Yeah, it gives better circulation too.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, I know that area, the pumps that are closest to the intersection are tight to get around. If somebody's parked there fueling and you got to go around them, it's pretty tight now. So I'm assuming that you guys are trying to accommodate a little bit more room around that edge, that corner.
Both corners, yes, and also ensuring that there's a center drive aisle, so that if there's 2 cars on either side of that center area, a car could get in between them, or north. Forgive me, I'm not sure. I think that it's north of the last drive aisle, between the drive aisle and the C-store. There is also a pass-through lane there, so we've made it where there's pass-through lane on both sides of the filling vehicles at the canopy, as well as in between the middle.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. If there's no further questions, we can open the meeting up to the public. Do we have any written communication? No? Kathleen? No? How about public comment? We have hordes of people who want to discuss this.
If you're on Zoom and you wish to make a general public comment, please go ahead and raise your hand in Zoom. It looks like only the applicant still has his hand raised. I
Okay.
don't see any other hands raised.
Suzanne, does the Commerce want to weigh in? No comment. That's an interesting thing. There you go. All right, then we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Any discussion and/or motions? Go ahead, Mike.
Mr. Chairman? Yeah, I like it. I think it's going to be a nice facelift to that corner, and I think I could support it.
Anyone else have any comments?
Well, I'll just agree. I think, it's going to be a better looking canopy and just overall nice facelift for the for the site, so I'm glad it's being proposed. I'm in favor of it, too.
Anything?
I agree. I think that it's going to be a nice aesthetic facelift to it, and so I'm also in support of the project.
Well, it's looking pretty good then. It's at least 3, probably 4. So why don't we go ahead and get a motion if we could?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. This was a CUP, right? Yes. Okay. I'd like to make a motion that the Planning Commission, by motion, approve the conditional use permit amendment A2022-0008.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that motion.
All right. Kathleen, could we get a roll call?
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Blanco.
Aye.
Commissioner Mohajer.
Aye.
Chair Dickerson.
Oh, let me ponder it. Aye. Okay, thank you very much. Good luck with your project, and I hope you manage to avoid the rain at some point. Other business, oral reports from Planning Commission and staff. Can we hear from you, Dana?
Yes, thank you. So I just wanted to mention that Commissioner Mohajer and I did attend the Planning Commissioner Conference last week, and that was very informative. So the next conference that is being held is going to be in Long Beach next year around this time. So as it gets closer, we have a while, but I can make sure to share that information with you all for next year. Yeah, I thought it was a great conference. And then we have some upcoming meetings. Our study session tomorrow is canceled, so we're not going to be meeting tomorrow. We do have a item scheduled for the April 20th study session, so we'll be meeting that day. And then our next hearing is scheduled for May 3rd. And that's all I have for staff updates today. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. I have another item. I'm sorry. I need to mention that we are in the process of doing some orientation type workshops for the general plan update. And there's an in-person workshop tomorrow evening at 5:30 at Shepherd Hall in the Santa Maria Library. And the focus of the meeting is going to be on the land use alternatives phase that we're currently working on. And so I'll be giving a presentation and then be available for questions. And then we also have some office hours. We're calling them office hours, but those will be in 2 weeks. So one will be on Zoom and one will be in person for anyone who wants to come by and ask questions about the project, or give information or share concerns or anything like that. And all of this information is available on the General Plan Update website, which is imaginesantamaria.com. And there's also a survey that we have out as well on land use alternatives that we want folks to take. So that's also there on the website.
Wonderful.
So thank you. That's it.
Thank you very much. Comments from, Commissioner
Please,
Lopez.
just real quick, how far along is our general plan before we see a draft?
We have a bit more to go. We're in the land use alternatives phase at the moment. We're expecting to have the project to City Council for them to select what's called a preferred alternative. That will come to your commission first for a recommendation to City Council. And that's something I did want to also mention. We do have some bigger projects that are coming up towards the summertime. So if any of you have vacations planned, if you can let me know, just because I want to make sure that we have a quorum. But in June, we'll most likely have these land use alternatives to your commission for recommendation to City Council. And what it is really to select a preferred way that Santa Maria will grow into 2045. So it's focused on either infill development, annexation, or a little bit of both. So growth outside city limits or a little bit of both. And so we are doing a lot of work right now on this phase. And so anyway, to get back to your question, I would say probably we hope to have this done in 2024. That's what we're looking at, and the entire thing. I think we did run into a few delays due to COVID and some other technical things that went on, but right now things are moving forward quickly, and So should be to your commission soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Further questions or comments from commissioners? We're adjourned. No, let's look at that. No way. I knew it. No.